Hi, this is Mary with the pink jacket.
And this is Nicole. We are both local Metro West business owners, avid networkers, and supporters of our local community. My motto has always been shop local, support local, give local.
Yeah, and it's a little bit hard to do this physically right now, so we're doing it the virtual way, and it works pretty good.
That is correct. So Nicole is the owner of Photo Fabulous You, where she and her team make superstars on LinkedIn. Her business is located in Westboro.
Mary's a mentor mom, coaching millennials who want more mojo, money, meaning, and life. She runs 3 social selling businesses from her home in Hopkinton.
And we are excited to welcome Bob Cargill to our little show here today. I'm going to read his bio so I don't miss anything. And I took liberties and edited a little here. So Bob might be a familiar face to or a familiar voice to many of you. He's on the airwaves quite a bit. His specialties include a lot of ings: social media strategizing, marketing, blogging, vlogging, podcasting, copywriting, direct marketing, digital marketing, fundraising, public speaking, teaching, and training. In addition to his role as a hands-on creative professional, he takes pride in his ability to bring out the best in others and affect positive organizational change as a manager and mentor. His work has been recognized with over 40 awards from the New England Direct Marketing Association. Bob likes to keep his finger on the pulse of what's going on, who's who in the field. He has his own podcast on marketing and a YouTube channel with hundreds and hundreds of videos. He's the current president of the American Marketing Association in Boston, and Bob is always happy to contribute in any way possible to the advancement of the industry in which he earns his livelihood. So welcome again, Bob.
Hi, Mary. Hi, Nicole. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So I'm going to dive right in because I have a ton of questions. We both do, Mary and I. So, Bob, maybe you can tell us a little bit. Has there been a shift, and how has it shifted, if there?
Absolutely. It's been a big shift for all of us in different ways. I realize for me, thankfully, it hasn't been too much of a transition because a lot of the work I do is online anyways. I do a lot of social media, a lot of content for my clients, and we would occasionally meet via Zoom anyways. But sure, I'm not seeing any clients in person these days, and I'm on Zoom probably 3, 4, 5 times as much, pretty much, half my day. And there is, ironically, in a good way, an increase in interest in what I have to offer because I know social media so well. It's what I've been doing for many, many years. And now clients and brands and businesses, people are realizing the importance of social media and online communication tools. So the pivot has been, for me, more of what I have always done online, less in person, and definitely more interest in what I might know with regard to videos or social media, and also how we communicate. You have to be a little more empathetic, a little less salesy, not as much marketing, and more listening to your audience and more dialogue, being there for your customers.
What do you think about the time for listening? So if you're posting one of the videos, do you think that might have shifted as well during this time? Are people more likely to listen a little bit longer than they have in the past?
Yeah, and again, I've been doing these videos on LinkedIn and YouTube and pretty much everywhere for years, several years at least. I started doing them a long time ago, but in the last few years, much more frequently. They are getting more attention, and I find that other people are doing them themselves now too, because it's a way, similar to what we're doing here today, Nicole and Mary. A lot of people are starting to experiment or just realize the need to use Zoom or video technology or social media to stay in touch. And so again, that means speaking more frequently, but it also means listening. And by listening, I mean you get out there and watch videos yourself and listen to them and comment on them. So there's absolutely more demand and interest in anything to do with online communications.
Mm-hmm. Is there one thing that in all of this period that we've been in that stands out to you the most? It could be on a business end or on a personal end.
Yeah, that's a great question and very open-ended. I could, I like to talk. I could probably mention a number of things. One thing that stands out to me, and I did a video on this recently, is the Dove has done some Dove soap and the brand, I think they're owned by Unilever, has done some great videos on that I've seen on social media and on TV. They pivoted, I think, remarkably well in that, because of the pandemic, the coronavirus crisis, we're all being told, and it makes sense to wash our hands a lot more. So Dove soap has some great, like I say, spots where one of them they said, when's the last time you washed your hands or something, do it now. And they said, we don't care which soap you use. And I love that because that's what I say. They're not marketing or selling, they're being helpful and supportive, and we don't care what soap you use, and yet they make soap. I think that was a very nice way of being a little bit promotional, but much more educational and helpful. And I think it will benefit them. People will remember them for those softer, more empathetic ads that were helpful. But hey, I might as well go buy Dove because I have that brand awareness. That's one thing that stood out. Again, open-ended question, so I wanted to single out a campaign that I've seen that I really liked.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one. If I hear unprecedented times, difficult, one more time in a commercial, whether I'm jogging and listening to Spotify or on the news, it's like enough already with the unprecedented times from every, marketing aspect. I'm going to ask you a little bit of a different question because I love marketing myself. Who's an ideal client for you? Company or, what size or what are their needs that just gets you fired up?
Sure. It's a good question, Mary. A tough question, actually.
Sorry, going off script a little bit.
No, my first thought was every client I have is ideal. I like all my clients, but if I were to describe or characterize the perfect client, it's one that that is totally open to what I have to offer and realizes the importance of what I have to offer. Because social media, a lot of clients, pretty much every organization, person, business needs to know how to use social media, should be using it in this day and age, and that's pre-pandemic. But now that we're in this pandemic, now more than ever, they need it. Ideally, the client understands how it works and that it is different than most marketing activities and ways of communicating, so that they trust me as a professional and will listen to me and let me do what I do best on their behalf. Most of my clients are like that because that's why they hire me. They know me, they trust me. Occasionally you do get a client that just doesn't understand it well enough and may question a little bit best practices and not necessarily allow you to do what is best practices. And therefore it might not work as well for them. Social media is unique, and you have to be the voice of the brand, and you have to be out there on a regular basis, speaking very honestly, transparently. And again, during the pandemic, listening and being thoughtful and being there in real time. And some clients have trouble with that. They want to be very protective of their brand and not too personal, not too open.
I find, sometimes in business, people say they want to do something. And then when it comes to the practicality of implementing the changes, we suggest it sometimes doesn't always get carried out fully. So do you have a tip for people stuck at home, a sanity saver, something that's gotten you through this? I see obviously from your background, you're an athlete, and I imagine, exercise is part of your life, but do you have a tip to share with us?
Yeah, and if it non-marketing, non-communications related.
You can choose.
No, and you mentioned it, and you see behind me, you know I'm a runner, and I think getting outdoors, social distancing, and wearing a mask when where we should, but getting outdoors, getting some fresh air is so important to our emotional health, I think. And so I get out there pretty much every day, running a few miles a day, sometimes more than a few miles, on the weekend it might be 10 plus. But the exercise really helps me, because otherwise I am on this computer in Zoom meetings, on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, all day. And now we don't have any barriers, should I say, to our typical workday. So you could be on your computer from morning to night, which I usually am anyways, but you got to get outdoors and get some exercise. Again, practicing social distancing, though, and wearing that mask when and where you should.
So I just, my last question is going to be short. What are your thoughts about travel? If travel is opening up again, do you think you will be going on any trips anytime soon?
I'm one of those who are pretty cautious and mindful of the dangers of the coronavirus. And, so when things open up, sure, I need to see people. I want to be out there, but I'm also going to proceed with caution and be mindful of the guidelines that the experts are issuing, because, it's obviously a very, very serious thing if one were to get COVID-19. So I'm going to be careful, but I can't wait to get out there. So it's going to be that fine line, proceeding with caution.
I think we're all in the same boat. Thank you so much for joining us today. So Bob's information will be listed in this post once Nicole does her behind the scenes tech expertise, so you can learn more about his services. If you would like to help support a local business, please be sure to share, like, and comment, and check back weekly as we're introducing new businesses who are sharing their tips to get through this pandemic. Please use the hashtag Support495. And if you know anyone else that should be featured, definitely reach out. So in the meantime, let's shop local, support local, give local, stay healthy, strong, sane,
and fabulous.